last report as the captain of the Starship Enterprise.
Star Trek IV is still a long way from hitting theaters, but there's been progress on the highly anticipated film. As of March 2024, Steve Yockey, known for his work on The Flight Attendant, took on the task of crafting a new screenplay. This new draft aims to reunite stars like Chris Pine, Zachary Quinto, and Zoe Saldana for the next adventure aboard the USS Enterprise. Meanwhile, separate from Star Trek IV, there are two other films in development: a prequel directed by Toby Haynes, and the completed filming of the Star Trek Discovery spin-off, Section 31, in March 2024. It's likely that both of these projects will hit screens before Star Trek IV does. Despite the wait, fans can hold out hope that Star Trek IV will eventually see the light of day. In the meantime, here's everything you need to know about the potential return of the USS Enterprise in Star Trek IV. Starting with one of the biggest questions, is Star Trek IV confirmed? As far as we know, Star Trek IV is definitely going to happen, despite nearly 8 years passing since the last movie, Star Trek Beyond, hit theaters. The long-awaited sequel seemed on track in February 2022 when J.J. Abrams returned to produce and Matt Shakman was set to direct, a move that surprised both fans and the cast. However, hopes were dashed when Shakman departed in August 2022 to helm the Fantastic Four for Marvel. Then, Paramount removed Star Trek IV from its release calendar in September 2022. As of March 2023, J.J. Abrams, who has been instrumental in the reboot trilogy, mentioned that the search for a new director is ongoing. I will say it's the first time since the original reboot that we have a story that feels as compelling as the first one, he told Esquire. Despite the challenges, even Chris Pine, who plays Captain Kirk, expressed curiosity about portraying an older Kirk in Star Trek IV. He mused about this possibility during Ace Superhero Comic-Con 2024, highlighting his close bond with his co-stars and his interest in exploring Kirk's character in his 40s. Chris Pine taking on Captain James T. Kirk in his 40s would undoubtedly be a captivating aspect of Star Trek IV. When Abrams' Star Trek debuted in 2009, Pine, then 29, impressed audiences with his youthful bravado and homage to William Shatner's iconic portrayal in the original series. As the series progressed, Pine's Kirk evolved, shedding impulsiveness for a more seasoned leadership as Enterprise's captain, even contemplating a promotion to admiral. Meanwhile, the next Star Trek film on the horizon is an untitled Star Trek origin movie set decades before Abrams' trilogy, exploring the early days of Starfleet. Much like William Shatner's portrayal of Admiral Kirk in later films, this origin story promises to deepen the character's narrative complexity, reflecting on regrets and the enduring mission to safeguard the galaxy alongside the Enterprise crew. Now, with Star Trek IV potentially on the horizon, there's ample room for Chris Pine, now 43, to redefine Kirk as he approaches his 50s, should the film finally move forward. Amidst uncertainties, the excitement among fans and the dedication of the cast signal optimism that the Enterprise will soar again, albeit after navigating through delays and changes. Star Trek IV's potential release date has been a roller coaster of uncertainty. Initially slated for December 22, 2023, the anticipated sequel never materialized and remains without a confirmed release date as of May 2024. Speculation about its return to the schedule is sparse, leaving fans eager for updates. Back in June 2022, Paramount's Brian Robbins expressed optimism about the project's development under J.J. Abrams, noting they were nearing the starting line and excited about the creative direction. However, setbacks followed, notably director Matt Shakman's departure in August 2022, which cast doubt on the film's progress. Reflecting the mixed feelings within the cast, Zachary Quinto shared in November 2022 that he had little attachment to the project at that point. He emphasized the importance of only getting excited about tangible realities, hinting at the uncertainty surrounding Star Trek IV's future. Despite these challenges, there are signs of hope. The addition of a new writer, Steve Yockey, marks a positive step forward, suggesting ongoing efforts to breathe life into the long-awaited sequel. While details remain elusive, stakeholders involved in the franchise continue to express faith in its eventual fruition, keeping the anticipation alive among fans eager for the return of the USS Enterprise to the big screen. Star Trek IV's cast remains a subject of anticipation and hope among fans, despite uncertainties surrounding its release. Originally slated for December 2023, the return of the reboot cast, including Chris Pine as Kirk, Zachary Quinto as Spock, Zoe Saldana as Uhura, Carl Urban as Bones, John Cho as Sulu, and Simon Pegg as Scotty, was not officially confirmed at the time. Paramount's Brian Robbins acknowledged in June 2022 the audience's desire to see this familiar ensemble return, hinting strongly that any iteration of Star Trek IV would likely feature the beloved crew once more. Urban expressed his eagerness to reunite with his co-stars, emphasizing the camaraderie and enjoyment of working together, even though scripts had yet to be read by some cast members. The initial concept for Star Trek IV, which involved a time-traveling adventure with Chris Pine's Kirk teaming up with his deceased father, portrayed by Chris Hemsworth, was a tantalizing idea that Hemsworth himself considered before ultimately stepping away due to creative reasons in 2019. Whether this concept persists or has evolved remains unclear, but Hemsworth has expressed openness to reprising his role if the opportunity arises. One lingering question involves Pavel Chekhov, originally portrayed by Anton Yelchin, whose tragic passing in 2016 left a void in the ensemble. The possibility of recasting Chekhov has been a sensitive topic among the cast, with Saldana emphasizing that keeping the Star Trek family together honors Yelchin's memory and contribution to the franchise. As for the plot of Star Trek IV, details remain under wraps. The conclusion of Star Trek Beyond left Kirk and his crew aboard a new USS Enterprise, ready for further adventures after the destruction of their previous ship. Pine has advocated for a narrative that remains true to the essence of Star Trek, focusing on its dedicated fanbase, rather than trying to emulate the expansive appeal of Marvel movies. With development ongoing and the cast's enthusiasm palpable despite setbacks, Star Trek IV holds promise for continuing the legacy of exploration and camaraderie that has defined the franchise for generations of fans. Star Trek IV has faced numerous setbacks despite ambitious concepts and notable filmmakers attached. Quentin Tarantino's vision for an R-rated adaptation based on a piece of the action episode from Star Trek the Original Series generated considerable buzz but ultimately didn't materialize. Similarly, S.J. Clarkson's storyline, which aimed to reunite Chris Pine's Captain Kirk with his late father, Lieutenant George Kirk, fell through due to creative differences. More recently, Matt Shakman's departure from the project to helm Marvel Studios' The Fantastic Four added to the list of challenges. These shifts in direction and leadership have contributed to delays and uncertainties surrounding Star Trek IV, leaving fans eager but uncertain about the film's future. The prospect of the Starship Enterprise returning to theaters to commemorate Star Trek's 60th anniversary in 2024 remains in limbo, underscoring the disappointment surrounding the unrealized potential of Star Trek IV. Despite these setbacks, hopes persist within the fan community for a revival that could eventually bring Captain Kirk and his crew back to the big screen in a new and compelling adventure. And that wraps up today's video. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one. What are your thoughts on the challenges Star Trek IV has faced with directors and its potential storyline? Drop your suggestions for our next video in the comments below.